In the International System of Units, the prefix nano means 1/billionth. Therefore, 1 nanometer is 1/billionth of a meter. To give it some context, a sheet of paper is about 100,000 nanometers thick. So we're talking about the tiny little robots that are practically boundless where they can go and what they can do. Now, they're so small, their functionality must remain extremely simple in its mechanics, but if you have enough of them performing varying functions, well, you got a sack full of possibilities there, Buster. So what is possible with nanobots? Now this is what we're gonna do here, guys. I'm gonna leave a scale, a meter of plausibility, in the corner, just right there. It's gonna do us the favor of measuring what's actually in the realm of plausibility with nanotechnology. One side will be in the plausible, reasonable, and downright possible range. Then far, far on the right side is the wow, we're in sci-fi cliche, even L. Ron Hubbard would be blushing range. Now let's be honest, the wild speculations is why we're here. That's what TheoryInk is all about, and trust me, it's gonna get weird. Nanotechnology has a lot of promise. Already, scientists are working on nanomaterials and microprocessors made from carbon nanotubes, showing real movement toward technologies that will give us clean water to reversing the effects of aging. And it's in healthcare that scientists are already blowing our feeble little minds. Take, for example, researchers of the Micro, Nano, and Molecular Systems Lab at the Max Planck Institute that have developed propeller-shaped nanorobots that for the first time ever are able to drill through the dense tissue in your eyeball. They use a non-stick coating so as to not get stuck in your eye and travel cleanly and easily through the jelly-like substance of your eye mass. This is in hopes to deliver a very targeted drug, which in practicality could be used to treat cancer and other diseases. Okay, so the nanobots are so small you won't actually feel them in your eye, so don't worry about that. But why is this such a big deal? Well, scientists had a really hard time having nanobots travel through thick tissue to be effective in any task in which a nanobot can help medically. Well, guess what? Looks like they can now, and they're traveling through your eyeballs. So that's where nanotechnology is largely making progress today, mostly in health and mostly in delivering targeted solutions. But as we progress in health and gain more control over our own biological systems, you can imagine where we go from here. That's right, transhumanism. So, in theory, if we can target very tiny things in abundance, you can imagine what kind of control we might have over our own bodies. How about the ability to breathe underwater? Okay, maybe not breathe underwater, but what if you could hold your breath longer than a whale? An actually reasonable probability, but mind you, still theoretical, is an engineering design called the Respirocyte. It's an artificial red blood cell about a micron in diameter. This artificial machine would carry an internal pressure of 1,000 atmospheres of compressed oxygen and carbon dioxide and slowly release those gases into your bloodstream, leaving you to potentially hold your breath for over 4 hours underwater. Of course, this tiny machine cannot be constructed with today's technology, but if we're building nano factories to do all sorts of crazy things, you bet your sweet blubber we'll be making these little guys in Dawn's sweet Aquaman threads. How about getting our energy from the sun instead of relying on using our mouth to chew food like some dork animal? And no, I'm not talking about a whole new level of vegan like that of breatharianism that, believes even eating plants is morally wrong and we should just directly receive our nutrition from the sun. Oh yeah, it's a real thing, and no, we're not going to talk about it. But what we're really talking about is a concept called Kleptoplasty. In simple terms, Kleptoplasty is a symbiotic phenomenon where an animal, like a sea slug, will eat something that derives energy from the sun through chlorophyll, like say an algae, and afterwards adopt the plastids and temporarily continue photosynthesizing. Crazy, right? Well, in theory, ya boys nanobots can do something similar and capture energy from the sun using photosynthesis to convert light into chemical energy. Need not fear, my pasty red-headed friends, for the sun shall no longer be thy enemy and bring a burn upon your pale skin, but instead be the god of your nourishment.